Elizabeth Rivera is an activist here in the Chilean community and the Latin American Forum. Has been working in solidarity with Colombia and with Latin American issues generally for some time. Please, Elizabeth, take the floor.
Thank you, John. First of all, I'd like to thank the Solidarity, Latin American Solidarity Conference for inviting me today. I have just arrived from Colombia, so I'm a little bit late, jet-landed at the moment. And I thank my comrade from Chile, Jorge, and my comrade from Guatemala, Edgar, for such an extraordinary exposition of what's happening in each of those countries. Now, I have been in Colombia in 2006, and I have seen a different Colombia then than the Colombia that I'm seeing just a couple of weeks ago. In 2006, there was a lot of repression, and there has been a lot of military movement in the cities of Colombia, like Bogota and Cali and other places where I was invited to go by the Solidarity Movement of Colombia, and some of the unions, like one of the large unions in Colombia of Fensuagra. Now, this time when I went around, I found out that the actual amount of military groups are not as many on the street with this new government. Nevertheless, that doesn't mean that they're not present or shown. There was a little bit of concern for my traveling to Colombia because of my connection with the different unions over there, and more than anything, my connection with Liliani Ovando Villota, who is in jail at the moment. Now, the majority of you have heard from my comrades here how Colombia is one of the countries that is still at the top of the assassination of trade unionists and peasants in that country. That hasn't stopped. That hasn't stopped since 2006, and I'm sure that it won't stop after this year. Now, Comrade Edgar did give a number of about 330 trade unionists who actually were assassinated, but the number since the year 2000 is more than 1,000, and it keeps increasing. Now, some of them, those assassinations are not all being counted because they haven't found bodies to actually count those. So there's a lot of those that are still in number. So the assassination continues on. The repression against the trade unionists is still on in Colombia. Colombia, since 2006 to now, is a lot poorer than what I saw before. I saw a lot of people, and especially young people on the street. It doesn't look like they go to school. They're more involved in trying to get some money to take home. There's a lot of those people, not just children, but a lot of women on the street. I had the opportunity to have a bit of a talk on the street with some of them. Unfortunately, they would like to go to school, but they can't go to school because there's no food at the table, and it makes it very difficult for them not to bring some sort of money at home. Santos is still continuing with the job that Uribe left behind. So that is not going to change very much, and it hasn't changed. Just the presence is not there in show and in body, as I saw in 2006. In 2006, I was able to see police force on the street, from one street to the next one, to the next corner, and everywhere around it. So it was very difficult to walk in the city of Bogota because you were afraid that if you did or say something wrong, then you would be able to be heard by the military force. or any of the other forces in there, like the DAS, which has a strong presence on the streets as well. Now, there's a lot of informants in Colombia, unfortunately, and they come from people like the taxi drivers, the people that are on public transport. So it's really better and more convenient not to discuss any issues that are more into the solidarity or the political side of things in Colombia. I had the opportunity also to go and see Comrade Liliani. Liliani is very good in spirit, as much as she knows that she had no idea for how much longer her staying in the Buen Pastor jail would be. I'm sure that some of you have received information in your emails that the new justice system has put her through again to go in and see whether the declaration of a particular person that may help her case, and that is to do with someone that have actually put some sort of information publicly that those computers that they were found in Ecuador that actually have said that her name was in these computers have been tampered with. Now, if that witness happened to come through on the 15th of this month, sorry, is it on the 15th, John? Yes, on the 15th. Would it be a possibility that that would change for Liliani? Now, Liliani is not in any way in hoping that this would happen. I think that she actually preferred to think that she'll be there for a long time, and that way she doesn't have any expectations of what may happen or not happening. I was in Bogota waiting for this particular time on the 7th when this witness was going to go and give the declaration. So I was there to wait for that day. Unfortunately, he was detained outside the country, so he couldn't come in to give this particular statement. And that obviously put this behind for this day now on the 15th, which it should have been yesterday. I don't think that we have heard what happened yet, if he actually turned up. Now, Liliani has sent her love to everyone that knew her. She did receive, through me, many letters from politicians, from trade unionists, and from individuals from the Solidarity Movement from Australia, which have really made her very happy that the international support hasn't stopped. Now, the only way that the prisoners, and not just Liliani, but every prisoner in the Buen Pastor, as well as the main prison, are relying on this international support. The international support, it is so strong for them that they are being looked after a little bit better. Due to that fact, Liliana receives a visit from overseas, practically one person every month, and that makes a lot of difference to what she can do in the jail. They are very well organized. They have started some sort of community within the prisoners in there, where they do a lot of different work. She has established a small library where the prisoners can go and study and read. They're trying to get that to move a little bit more often. They can't do it all the time. They do have the facility to buy certain things that are needed by them in a small shop.